morning. I'm so pleased to welcome you here. My name is Mila Semeshkina, and I'm CEO and founder of the Women's Empowerment Council and the convention. There are so many of you. You're so beautiful. You come from different cultures. You speak very different languages. Actually, this is diversity, truly. But there is one very bright, one very powerful distinction that unites us all. We are women. Of course, there are men here too, but this female energy, it's palpable. It hovers here, and it simply illuminates everything. You see it. First, I would like to tell you about how and why we chose this topic of Week Convention, Big Goals, Bold Choices. In May 2023, I attended a conference in Paris. It was one of the largest conferences in Europe for women. I gave an interview on stage, and we discussed everything but money. For me, this was a very big mystery. We talked about work-life balance, energy, motivation, and other important things. But the topic of money and its importance was completely avoided. And yet, 95% of the women in the audience were female entrepreneurs. When I was asked about harmony and balance again, I asked the audience a counter question. Why don't we talk about money? Because we talk about safety on social networks, about life balance, how to build it, the importance of harmony, and everything like this. But we somehow sidestep the topic of money, questions of successful careers, building a business, attracting investments, and overall success. And these are excellent topics for discussions. In short, it was a brief and spontaneous speech of mine. After the interview, several women approached me, they thanked me, and talked about how important it was that finally someone brought the topic of money and wealth for women to life. Because this topic is still considered uncomfortable and somewhat taboo. I want to tell all the women here that it's okay to talk about money, career, business, attracting investments, and myriad of ways to succeed and find your own path. We as women need and should talk about these important things. It's time for us to understand and realize that business and success aren't just for men. We are the first generation of women who have every opportunity to act and achieve in any field. We have the same chances as men now. Think about it. We are the first generation. For thousands of years, women couldn't really achieve much on their own. Our only achievement was to be a wife. That was it. No other roles was available for us. Just a wife and a homemaker. And if you wanted more, well, good luck. We were mistreated. We were humiliated. We were even burned at the stake. It sounds harsh, I know, but it's all true. But now, finally, we have the opportunity to build our lives the way we want it. We can now learn whatever we want. We can work wherever we want. We can choose the career we want. Finally, we can decide who we want to share our lives with or to stay single. We can manage our own time and property. We can have our own money. We can decide by our own how to spend it, how much and on what. We can invest, start our own businesses, or work for others. We can finally make these choices for ourselves, by ourselves. Until recently, women didn't have these opportunities. And now it's time to fully embrace the freedom we have. We need to understand we can do anything we want. As long as it's not illegal, it's allowed for us, at last. I already shared my story at the Week Convention last year, and many know it's already, but now I'll dig a little bit deeper. My parents, they were very strict, and they loved me a lot. They raised me to be the ideal wife, the perfect wife. From childhood, they instilled in me that I should take care of my husband and learn everything to help with that. They told me that family and household should be my priority, and complete priority. They made me believe that I probably wouldn't work after having a child or children, and that I should dedicate all my life to the family. They raised me this way, but ever since I was a child, I couldn't understand why. Why should I depend on a husband, on another person, and why should I hand over responsibility for my life to him? Why do this if I'm ready to take responsibility for myself and face all the risks on my own? Why? If I'm ready and being capable and responsible for my life, especially if I can take care of myself and if needed, my family. It's not necessary for me to pass this responsibility to someone else. My parents raised me this way, but what they got was a rebel. Now I understand that I avoided a terrible fate, a fate that unfortunately many women in our world can't escape. I stood up for my right to be myself, to choose and build my life as I say it, rather than just being a wife. Being a wife is good, but just being a wife and handing over your whole life to someone else is quite dangerous, don't you think? You see, the problem is this. You can be raised to be a good wife. You might be a good wife, but there is no guarantee you'll get a good husband. Boys are not raised to be husbands. Boys are raised to be leaders, champions, alpha males, dominants, fighters. They're brought up to fit any role except of a husband. I don't know any boy raised to be the ideal husband, and I bet you too. Maybe it's also time to stop raising girls by a single outdated standard and pattern that's been around for thousands of years. Just think, for thousands of years, girls have been raised the same way. You must be a wife, you'll get married, have children, stay at home, be a good mother, a wife, a grandmother, and that's it. For thousands of years. We're like the donkey who was walking around in circles for most of its life on a rope. The rope has been removed. The donkey can go to the field to graze, but it still keeps walking in circles. It's important to understand that there are so many scripts, so many opportunities in this world, and finally we can be who we want to be. Finally, we can achieve self-fulfillment. Finally, we can build careers. Finally, we can start businesses. Finally, we can choose our destiny and build our lives the way we think is right, not leaving it up to anyone else. Hundreds of generations of women were deprived of this. Our female ancestors were deprived of this. Can you imagine how much unrealized energy has accumulated in us over thousands of years and hundreds of generations? With it, we can move mountains, literally. Because this energy hasn't disappeared. It's in us, it's in our blood, it's in our veins, it's in our spirit. I stayed true to myself, stood up by my choice, and eventually my parents accepted it, and I separated. We agreed that I would take the risks and responsibilities on my own, and they let me go my own way. They are no longer alive, but if they were here in the room now, they would say, "You did everything right, keep going, follow your path." And now I'm the first millionaire in my family. And I'm a woman. Thank you. Thank you. My life has had many challenges, but one situation I'll never forget is when I was asked to move from a table to a chair by the wall because men sit at this table. Can you believe? This happened in Europe where I was already a top manager of a quite large company. It was one of the most humiliating moments in my life. Being asked to leave the table just because I'm a woman. It's both funny and terrible that this can happen in the 21st century. I cried for several days afterward. It was a shock that this could even happen. Unfortunately, this is still possible in our world. Sexism and chauvinism are becoming less common, but they still exist. Today, I have my own table, my own large office of over 3,000 square meters. I have my own company, or companies, to be precise, employing over 1,000 people worldwide. My business has helped more than 4.5 million users. And there is always a place at my table for everyone, men and women. But I still remember that, thank you. But I still remember that situation with slight horror and disbelief. And I remember promising myself then that no one will ever treat me that way again, never. And I will not allow other women to be treated this way too. We need to understand that there should always be a place for us. And if there is not, we need to create our own table and invite people to it. And not to be afraid of that because it's normal, because we women can do anything. I'm a woman and I can do anything. That's what I know now, believe in, and how I live. I can have everything I want. I'm ready to work for it, ready to put in the effort, to dream big, think big, and work hard. Big goals, bold choices. And that's what this big convention is about. It's about not being afraid to be successful, not being afraid to be wealthy, not being afraid to be well-off and independent. We women need to know this. Money, self-realization, and self-sufficiency let us make our own choices. Choose what we want, not what we can afford. We must remember that money and wealth are ways some men, almost all the men, use to manipulate women. When men use financial dependency to force women into certain choices or to accept men's decisions, when men exploit a lack of independence, a means of livelihood or self-realization, it is one of the most severe forms of manipulation women can experience in their lives. I urge you to make choices that keep you from being manipulated. Have your own money and know how to earn it by yourself. You should know how to increase your income, understand that money and wealth are your freedom. They let you choose the man you want to be with or to stay single. They give you the power to choose the life you want to live or lifestyle you want. So, ladies, let's spend these 2 days talking and learning about how to build our successful, wealthy, and happy lives. Let's dedicate 2 days to intense work on our future. You'll hear hundreds of stories and success formulas from amazing people. Don't lose a single word. All the women and men you'll hear have been through very tough journeys, overcome many obstacles, and reached their peaks. They are ready to share their success with you. Don't miss out. Network, communicate. Don't be afraid to approach strangers. We're all here for the same reason. We're all like-minded. Please, don't miss any speech or panel discussions. We have a phenomenal lineup of speakers, just phenomenal. It was so difficult to bring them here, but they're here today. So in any case, we have gondolas outside, no worries. And finally, I want to say to every woman and every girl here, let these 2 days be foundational for you. Let them be a starting point towards your new, happy, and wealthy life. I want that next year, when we gather here, you come with your results doubled, earning twice as much, climbed the next step in your career, your business grown at least twice. Set these goals for yourself. Set them high. Big goals, bold choices. Remember, we are women and we can do anything. I am a woman and I can do anything. Write this down and make it your life mantra. I'm a woman and I can do anything. Make it your mantra, daily mantra. I'm a woman and I can do anything.